Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Shahrzad Naravi. I'm a business psychologist and welcome back to the Watch It series. Today we are talking about the H, which is handle your ego. In this series, I've talked about the Watch It model. The W is walk around. The A is ask, seek, explore. The T is take in feedback. The C is clarify and understand. And today I'm going to talk about the H, handle your ego. There are 4 keys to taming the beast and improving your culture. So let's talk about the ego for a moment. There's a lot of different ways we hear about it. It's a part of our mind that wants to keep us safe. The ego is often in fight or flight or freeze, and it's there to help keep us safe. We don't need it anymore like we used to when we were running from wild beasts and picking berries, but it exists and it wants to be employed in your mind full time. Other names for the ego are saboteurs, gremlins, and all who warn of mostly imagined danger. It is a part of what leads to the negativity spiral when we think one negative thing after another and spiral down to the point where it's hard to get off the couch. Your ego, as you are seeking input and getting feedback about your culture, may say things like, they don't know what they're talking about. She's too sensitive. Those millennials. The ego defines itself by creating stories and making meaning out of day-to-day events. It defends itself from perceived attacks by imagined enemies. It scans for threats all day long. It keeps us in the defensive, and it prevents us from having peace. I have several books. For those of you who would like to understand this concept better, if you go to strategymeetsperformance.com, under resources, I have book recommendations that I believe you will find eye-opening and enlightening and easy to start applying in your day-to-day life for yourself and for understanding the behavior of others. Now let's get to the 4 keys to taming the ego. Number 1, know the common messages that the ego will share with you, that this part of your mind will share with you. It includes things like, it's them, it's not me, I know better than you, it's not my fault, don't I look good? So if you find yourself having these common messages, whether it's to yourself or to others, know that that's a clue that your ego is taking over. Know that that's a clue that your ego is playing a role in how you are viewing things. The second way to tame the ego is the message turnaround. Listen for the message that someone shares with you, whether it's feedback or a statement that someone makes. Ask yourself, is this helpful or hurtful? Is it intended to be helpful or hurtful? Name the thought and the fear. So for example, if someone says, I think we can be more engaging with our employees when it comes to the environment in the workplace when they come into the office twice a week. You may have the thought of, what's the problem? I bring in great food, I create a nice environment, they're so ungrateful. Name that thought that you are saying they're ungrateful. Is that helpful or not? Maybe there's something that you should explore that you can learn that there's a couple things to do to really make that environment engaging. So sometimes we just stop right there. We think, I already do so many good things, what's the problem? And we move on. And the question is, let's take a moment, let's take a beat and a pause and learn more. So turning around that negative message is an important first step. Once you have named that thought and fear, and your fear could be, I'm doing so much and people aren't grateful and maybe they're going to leave. And when you start being open and talking to people and finding out what things could make it better, you start making solutions. And then when that thought comes back, oh, they're not gonna like this place, they're gonna leave. You could tell your ego, thank you for the warning, I've got this. and shoo it away. Some people in the workshops I've had will say, I'm going to tell my ego, shut up. And I would say, let's take a gentler approach. It's a part of our mind that wants to protect us. It keeps us in fight or flight because it thinks we need that, right? And to be able to say, it's okay, I've got this, thank you, is very helpful. The third way of taming the ego and taming the beast is review your leadership style. Seek feedback on what you're doing really well and what you can work on. It's really powerful to take stock of your style and know what things you're doing well, what things are making a difference to people, what things are maybe annoying that you can stop or you can do differently or less often. And for example, if you get feedback that you're being too direct, explore it with a coach and learn, where did this behavior come from? Where was it positively reinforced to the point that you're still doing it today? Marshall Goldsmith always talks about what got you here won't get you there. And it's brilliant and it makes sense because some of our behaviors made sense at some point, and now in a different stage in our lives, in a different organization, in a different setting, they may not work anymore, and that's okay. And when you work with an excellent coach, you can learn how to create new behaviors, new ways of showing up. And the fourth way to tame the beast and tame the ego is review what is happening when you get triggered. What messages make you defensive? Where did you experience this before? How can you not take feedback so personally? I had a client, and when he felt that people were telling him what to do and he didn't have a say in it, that was certainly a trigger from his earlier days in his childhood where he did not have a lot of say in his life. He did not have much autonomy. And we all have some of these things. And so when you do get triggered and you get really angry, and that's a response maybe higher than 4 out of 10, it's coming from something in your past. It could be unresolved pain, unresolved trauma. And ask yourself, why did I show up in that way? What about that made me so angry? And of course, I will always recommend exploring your behaviors and creating awesome new leadership styles with a coach and sometimes with a therapist. And it's a great thing to do. It's a normal thing to do. And I love that it's showing up and being talked about more and more in this generation and in the media, and I always recommend it. And should you need to speak with someone who is a clinical psychologist, let me know and I have recommendations for you. So here's to you, handling the beast, taming the ego, and in the spirit of openness and curiosity to creating an amazing culture, know that an amazing, powerful culture starts with you.